Zara stood in the middle of the ancient hall, her silver eyes full of mischief. She was a tall alien girl with blue skin and hair like fire. Her home planet, Virilia, was known for its warriors. But Zara was different. She liked to laugh, explore ruins, and play tricks on people. Standing next to her was Daniel, a young human soldier from Earth. He had come to Virilia as part of a peace exchange between humans and aliens. He was quiet, calm, and always polite. Zara thought he was too serious. She wanted to make him smile. That's when she saw the old armor. It stood inside a glass case, tall and shining. Its metal looked like black stone, but with strange red lines that pulsed like veins. It had belonged to one of Zara's ancestors, a famous warlord from 1,000 years ago. The armor was never touched. Everyone said it was just for display. Zara smirked. "Hey, Daniel," she said. "Wanna try this on?" Daniel looked confused. "The armor? Isn't it sacred?" She rolled her eyes. "It's just an old costume. Come on, be brave. Don't be boring." He hesitated but then shrugged. "Okay, just for a second." Zara opened the glass case. A soft hum filled the air. She didn't notice it. She was too busy laughing. Daniel stepped forward and touched the chest piece. The moment his fingers touched it, the armor moved. It moved. The chest plate flew from the stand and locked onto Daniel's body. The arms and legs followed, wrapping around him like a shadow. His eyes widened. He tried to step back, but his feet were stuck. Zara stopped laughing. "Wait, this isn't supposed to happen," she whispered. The armor lit up. Red lines glowed across its surface. The air became heavy, like thunder before a storm. Symbols floated in the air, strange alien letters. A low, deep hum came from the armor, like something waking up. Daniel's eyes turned red for a moment. "Zara," he said, "I can feel something inside me. It's talking." Zara's heart raced. This wasn't a joke anymore. She stepped back and opened her communicator. "We need help," she said. The armor, it activated. Across the galaxy, a sensor on a forgotten planet blinked for the first time in 1,000 years. A sleeping enemy opened its eyes. In the great library of Virilia, old alien scholars rushed to check the archives. One of them, an ancient Virilian named Mayron, gasped as he read the glowing scroll. "The Warlord's armor has chosen a new host," he said. "And it's not a Virilian." Daniel sat in a room surrounded by scientists. They scanned the armor. They tried to remove it. Nothing worked. Zara stood in the corner, silent. She felt guilty. This was her fault. All she wanted was to make him smile. "I shouldn't have joked," she said. "I didn't know this would happen." Daniel looked at her. His voice was soft. "It's okay. I don't blame you, but I don't feel like myself anymore." He raised his hand. A light shot from his palm and broke a metal wall. Everyone froze. The lead scientist whispered, "That armor was made for a warlord. It holds power beyond anything we've seen. If it accepts him, he may be more than human now." Zara searched her family records. She found old files hidden deep in the archives. One of them was a recording. A warrior with glowing red eyes spoke in a voice like thunder. "My armor will choose only one. Not by blood, but by spirit. The one who carries my fire will awaken my path. The galaxy will shake again." Zara's hands trembled. Daniel isn't just wearing it. The armor thinks he's the heir. That night, Daniel stood alone on a cliff, looking at the stars. The armor whispered inside his head, "You are chosen. You carry my rage. You will finish what I started." Daniel closed his eyes. He didn't want to be a warrior. He didn't want to fight anyone. He just came to learn to live in peace. But something inside him felt awake. He heard footsteps. Zara walked beside him. "I'm sorry," she said. Daniel smiled. "It's okay." Zara looked at the armor. "You know, people feared the warlord. But some say he tried to stop the war in the end. Maybe you can finish his story the right way." Daniel didn't answer. The stars above flickered. A strange red star blinked in the sky. Far away in a dark galaxy, someone growled. The air has awakened. The war must begin again. Daniel sat in a cold metal room, surrounded by machines and lights. Alien scientists moved around him, scanning the armor with blinking devices. But the armor didn't move. It stayed silent, calm, but tightly wrapped around Daniel's body, like it had become part of him. Zara stood outside the room, watching through the glass. Her face was pale. She had made a mistake. A big one. This was supposed to be a joke, she whispered. Now he's part of something ancient. Later, the lead scientist, Julek, called a meeting. The armor is not just metal, he said. It's alive. It has an energy source we can't detect. It responded only to Daniel. Not even Zara's DNA activated it. Why only me? Daniel asked. Julek looked nervous. We don't know, but we found something else. A code. A message hidden deep inside the armor's memory. Zara stepped forward. A message. Julek nodded. A forgotten code. An old language. Older than any Virilian record. We had to dig through ancient data just to read a few words. He pressed a button. A voice filled the room. It was deep, powerful, and slow. The fire shall pass to one of will. Not of blood, not of name. He shall awaken what was sealed. And the galaxy shall choose peace or destruction. Daniel felt a chill down his spine. What does that mean? Zara whispered. It means you were chosen, not by family, but by your heart. That night, Daniel had a strange dream. He stood in a burning city. Alien buildings crumbled around him. Creatures screamed. The sky was dark with fire. And in front of him stood a tall warrior wearing the same armor he had on now. The warrior turned. His eyes glowed red. I was the Warlord, the voice said. I destroyed worlds. I brought peace through fear. You carry my spirit now. What will you do? Daniel gasped. I don't want to be like you. The warrior stepped closer. Then choose. But know this, the enemy has felt your spark. And they are coming. Daniel woke up sweating. In a secret part of the planet, far from the city, an old enemy base came to life. Long-forgotten ships powered up. A dark figure stepped from the shadows. His name was Commander Sither. He had been waiting for this moment for 1,000 years. The Warlord's heir has returned, he said, eyes glowing. Prepare the fleets. The war is not over. Back on Virilia, Zara returned to her family archive. She was determined to find out the truth. She dug through dusty books, broken scrolls, and old memory crystals. Finally, she found it. A file labeled, Armor Project, Final Days. She opened it. A video played. A group of old Virilian leaders argued inside a dark room. This armor is too powerful, one said. It should be destroyed. No, another replied. It should be sealed. Let time choose its next bearer. And if it chooses the wrong one? Someone asked. Then we all fall. The video ended. Zara sat in silence. They never planned to use the armor again. They were afraid of it. She looked at Daniel's picture. But the armor chose him. That must mean something. The next day, Daniel returned to the training yard. He wanted to understand the armor. He needed to control it. Zara helped him. She watched as he tried to move faster, punch harder, focus his mind. Each time, the armor responded, like it was listening. At one point, Daniel raised his arm and fired a pulse of energy across the sky, cut through rock like butter. Zara clapped. You're getting better. Daniel shook his head. It's not me. It's the armor. She stepped closer. No, it's both of you. The armor needs a guide. You're not the Warlord. You're you. Daniel nodded slowly, but deep down he felt something strange. Every time he used the armor, a voice inside grew stronger. That night he sat by a window, looking at the stars. Zara joined him. I found something, she said. An old warning. If the armor is active, old enemies will rise again. Daniel looked at her. They already have. Zara blinked. What? I saw it. In my dream. Fire. Ships. A man named Scyther. He's coming. Zara stood up. We have to prepare. Daniel stood too. We need to find out more about this warlord. About what he started. And what I'm supposed to finish. Far across the stars, Scyther's fleet left the dark system. His ship's sensors lit up. Target found, the AI said. Armor signal confirmed. Scyther smiled. Let's greet the new heir before he grows too strong. Far beyond the peaceful skies of Varelia, in the dead part of space, a cold planet spun slowly. No sun reached it. No life touched it for 1,000 years. Only silence. But now something changed. A pulse, a signal, flashed through the dark. Deep inside a hidden mountain, old machines turned on. Red lights blinked. Engines hummed. A chamber opened. Out stepped Commander Scyther. He was tall, covered in black armor with spikes like claws. His skin was gray and cold, like stone. His eyes glowed red. Scyther had been sleeping for a long time, waiting. The signal from the warlord's armor had reached him. He smiled. The heir lives, he said. Time to finish what we started. Back on Varelia, Daniel trained harder every day. The armor obeyed him more now. It moved when he moved. Spoke less, but watched more. Zara watched him too. She saw how his body grew stronger. His speed. His control. But something worried her, the look in his eyes. Sometimes, when Daniel trained, he looked angry. Like the armor spirit was changing him. One day, while Daniel practiced alone, the armor whispered, "They are coming. I can feel their fire." He stopped. Who? The ones I fought. The ones I failed to destroy. Daniel looked up. You mean the old enemies? Yes. My war was never finished. Yours is just beginning. In the Varelian command center, alarms suddenly rang. Screens lit up with red warnings. Unidentified ships were entering known space. Big ones. Old designs. Ships from the warlord's time. Ships that should not exist. Zara and Daniel rushed into the room. What's happening? Daniel asked. The general pointed at the screen. Someone is waking up. Zara gasped. It's them. The ones from the war. The enemies who vanished after the warlord disappeared. Daniel stepped forward. His armor began to glow. Then we need to be ready. Commander Scyther's ships reached a small Varelian moon. There were no people, only robots mining energy. Scyther raised his hand. Destroy it. Lasers rained down. Fire covered the surface. Scyther watched, calm and silent. Let the galaxy see. Let them fear the air. Let him come to me. On Varelia, news spread fast. The moon was gone. Destroyed in seconds. Daniel clenched his fists. He's doing this because of me. Zara touched his arm. No. He's doing it because he fears you. Daniel shook his head. Or because he wants to test me. Later, the council called Daniel to a meeting. An elder said, The armor has brought danger back to our galaxy. Another added, You must leave Varelia. If you stay, we will all be in danger. Daniel stood up. No, I won't run. I didn't ask for this power, but I have it now. I can protect us. Zara stepped beside him. He's not like the warlord. He can do better. Let him try. The council went quiet. After a long pause, the oldest member spoke. Then let the stars judge him. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He walked alone in the city. The armor spoke softly. Do you fear him? Daniel answered, Yes. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. But don't let it rule you. Suddenly, he saw something in the sky. Flash. Then, a message appeared on every screen across the planet. Scyther's face. People of Varelia, I bring no hate to you, only to the boy in the armor. Send him to me, and I will leave you in peace. Refuse, and I will burn every moon you have. The screen went black. People screamed. Some shouted in fear. Others blamed Daniel. Daniel stood before the crowd. I didn't want this, he shouted. But I won't hide. I'll face him. Zara stepped beside him. And you won't face him alone. The next morning, Daniel prepared to leave for the stars. Zara gave him an old blade, passed down from her family. This was used in the First War. Now it's yours. Daniel smiled. Thank you. A small ship waited for him. As he stepped inside, Zara looked at him and said, "Promise me, you'll come back." Daniel nodded. "I will. But first, I need to find out why the armor chose me, and stop Scyther before he wakes up the whole galaxy." Far away, in the dark heart of his fleet, Scyther stood in front of a giant cryo-chamber. Inside, thousands of old soldiers slept, his army from long ago. He touched the panel. "Wake them," the glass hissed. One by one, the soldiers opened their eyes. The galaxy would soon remember what fear felt like. Daniel's ship flew through the stars, leaving the planet Virilia behind. The stars outside the window looked peaceful, but his heart was full of fire. He had seen destruction. He had heard the enemy's voice. Scyther had returned. Daniel didn't know if he was ready to fight. The armor gave him strength, but it also gave him fear. "I need to understand it," he whispered. "I need to control it." The armor spoke inside his mind. "Then you must train. Go to the place where I was born." Daniel entered a hidden planet, one not marked on any star maps. The armor guided the ship to land in a valley surrounded by black mountains. Lightning cracked above. The air felt heavy. As he stepped out of the ship, the armor lit up. Path opened in the ground. He followed it into a cave deep underground. Strange lights danced on the walls. Symbols glowed like fire. At the end of the path, a giant door stood tall. The armor spoke again. "Only you can open this door. Only the air." Daniel touched the door. It opened with a roar. Inside was a large chamber filled with floating platforms, glowing weapons, and training dummies made from alien metal. This was no normal place. It was a warlord's training temple. Zara, watching from her ship above, saw Daniel disappear into the mountain. "I hope he survives this," she said. She had followed him in secret. She couldn't let him face everything alone. Not after what they had been through. Inside the temple, the armor created a voice projection, a glowing red figure that looked like the warlord himself. "You are not ready," it said. "But you will be." Daniel stood tall. "Then teach me." The voice nodded. "First, learn to move like the wind." Platforms shot up from the ground. Lasers flashed across the room. Daniel ran, jumped, and rolled. But he fell many times. The armor tried to protect him, but it didn't do everything. "Use your mind, not just your body," the voice said. Daniel focused. He began to move with more purpose. Slowly, he passed the first test. Hours passed, then days. Each day brought a new challenge. Energy blades attacked him from every side. Fire walls forced him to think fast. He trained his hands to fire blasts of power. He learned to fly short distances. He even learned how to shield others with the armor's energy. But it was painful. The armor pushed his limits. His muscles screamed. His mind felt tired. His dreams were full of voices. Zara finally came down from her ship and found him resting near the training wall. "You look like a broken machine," she joked. Daniel smiled weakly. "Feels like it." She sat next to him. "Why push so hard?" "Because Scyther is waking up his army," Daniel said. "And I'm the only one who can stop him." Zara looked into his eyes. "You're not alone." That night, the warlord's voice returned. "You've done well. One final test remains. A memory. My last battle." Daniel was pulled into a simulation. Suddenly, he was no longer himself. He saw through the warlord's eyes. He stood in the middle of a great battlefield. Ships exploded above. Soldiers fought below. Fire everywhere. He saw Scyther, standing tall, full of rage. The warlord shouted, "I offer peace." Scyther screamed back, "I want control." Then they fought like gods in war. Energy clashed. The sky cracked. But in the end, the warlord fell. His army was gone. He chose to lock the armor away, waiting for someone better. Daniel woke up with tears in his eyes. "He didn't want war," he whispered. "He wanted peace." Zara nodded. "Then maybe You were chosen not because of strength, but because of heart. The next morning, Daniel stood in the center of the temple. The armor had changed. It was sleeker, faster. It glowed brighter. He had changed too. The armor spoke once more. You are ready. Far away, Scyther stood in front of his army. Thousands of soldiers wore old black armor. Their eyes burned red. Scyther raised his hand. We fly to Varelia, burn their skies, and bring me the boy in the armor. The ships launched like angry shadows. Daniel, standing at the temple's exit, looked at the sky. He could feel them coming. Zara stood beside him. You ready? Daniel nodded. I may be the heir, but I'll write a new story now. Daniel stood on the edge of the mountain temple. Wind blew across his face. His armor was calm, glowing like a sleeping fire. He had trained hard, passed every test. He was ready for Scyther. But the war was not going to be simple. Far away, in another corner of the galaxy, something else had awakened. Another suit of armor. On the distant planet Dracaris, deep inside an old battle vault, a second armor chamber opened. This armor was darker, thicker, filled with blue and black lights, pulsed with power and rage. A tall alien stepped forward. His name was Kale. Kale was a born fighter, strong, proud, raised in war. He had always dreamed of power, and now the armor chose him. It crawled over his body like a living beast. Kale smiled. Finally, he said, I will be the one the galaxy bows to. The armor spoke inside his mind. The first heir has awakened. You are the second. One will rule. One will fall. Kale's smile widened. Then let him fall. Zara's ship flew back toward Varelia. Daniel sat beside her, watching the stars pass by. You did it, she said. You mastered the armor. Daniel shook his head. No, I only learned how to control it. That doesn't mean I've mastered myself. Zara smiled. Spoken like a true hero. Suddenly, the ship's alarm beeped. Incoming message. Priority alert. Zara opened the screen. A Varelian general appeared, sweating and pale. You need to come back now. A second armor has been found. And it chose a warrior named Kale. Daniel's heart dropped. Another one? The general nodded. He already destroyed one of our outposts. He wants to fight you. He believes only one of you can wear the title heir of the Warlord. Kale stood in front of a group of frightened soldiers. He lifted his hand, and a shockwave threw them back. Where is the other heir? He growled. They didn't answer. He stepped forward and crushed the ground beneath his feet. I will find him myself. Back on Varelia, Daniel landed quietly. The people stared at him. Some cheered. Others looked worried. He's the reason the war is coming, one whispered. No, said another. He's the one who will stop it. Zara and Daniel met with the council. They spoke of Kale, of Scyther, and of the danger ahead. Why would there be two heirs? Zara asked. An old historian answered, the warlord had two paths, one of fear, one of peace. He built two armors. One would follow strength. The other would follow heart. Daniel frowned. Which one am I? Zara smiled gently. You already know. That night, Daniel stood alone in a quiet field. The armor whispered to him again. Kale is power. You are purpose. He will fight to rule. You must fight to protect. Daniel closed his eyes. Then I must face him. The next morning, Kale appeared in Varelia's sky. His ship crashed down with a roar. He stepped out in full black armor, glowing with blue lightning. I have come for the other heir, he shouted. Let the galaxy see which of us is worthy. Daniel stepped forward. I'm not here to rule. I'm here to stop you. Kale grinned. Then stop me. The two charged. Their battle shook the ground. Blades of energy clashed. The sky lit up with power. Each move faster than the last. Kale laughed during the fight. You fight with care. I fight with fury. Daniel blocked a heavy strike. And that's why you'll lose. Kale blasted him with a wave of energy. Daniel flew back, crashing through a stone wall. Zara ran to him. Are you okay? Daniel stood up slowly, eyes burning. He looked at Kale. This isn't just power. It's responsibility. That's something you'll never understand. The fight paused as both armors glowed brighter. Suddenly, a message appeared in the sky, sent by Scyther. His face looked down at both of them. 2 heirs. 1 war. Good. When you're done destroying each other, I will destroy what's left. The real enemy is waiting. The message ended. Kale looked at Daniel. This fight isn't over, he said. But for now, we have a common enemy. Daniel nodded. Scyther must fall. Kale turned and walked away. Next time, I won't hold back. Later, Zara sat beside Daniel. You both want the same thing, but in different ways. Daniel nodded. He wants glory. I want peace. Zara asked, can both exist in the same galaxy? Daniel looked at the stars. I guess we're about to find out. A red star pulsed in the sky. It was far, far away but not hidden anymore. Every sensor in the galaxy picked it up. The throne star. It was where the Warlord first built the armor. The place where full power would be unlocked. The one who reached it first would become more than just an heir. He would become a legend. Daniel stood in the Verilian control room, staring at the star map. That's where I need to go, he said. Before Kale does. Before Scyther finds it. Zara nodded. We'll go together. But it won't be easy. Across the galaxy, Kale had already begun his own journey. His armor guided him too. He flew fast, cutting through space like a shadow. This is my destiny, he whispered. The throne star will be mine. The race had begun. But the path was dangerous. Daniel and Zara's ship reached the first sector. The maze field. A huge zone filled with floating rocks, energy storms, and old war traps. Zara held the controls tightly. We need to move fast. But one wrong turn and we're dust. Daniel stood at the front window. I can guide us. The armor remembers this place. Suddenly, a storm hit. Blue lightning cracked around them. Their ship shook. Daniel raised his hands. A glowing shield formed outside the ship, powered by the armor. The storm calmed. Zara blinked. Did you just shield us through space? Daniel smiled. Let's keep going. Kale's ship entered the field from another side. He didn't slow down. He punched straight through rocks. He used blasts to blow a path. His co-pilot, a silent droid, warned him. Too dangerous. Kale growled. The throne won't wait. Both ships reached the next trial, the Gate of Echoes. It was an ancient wall floating in space. To pass through, one had to speak a secret known only to the true heir. Daniel placed his hand on the gate. He whispered, I seek not power, but peace. The gate opened slowly. Zara smiled. That was beautiful. Behind them, Kale arrived. He didn't speak. He attacked. His ship fired toward them. Zara dodged. He's not even trying to solve it. Kale's armor pulsed with power. He shouted at the gate. I am the future. The gate cracked, but didn't open. Kale screamed in rage. He forced his ship to break through the wall. Sparks flew. Systems failed. But he made it through, burning, damaged, but alive. Hours later, Daniel and Zara reached the Nebula of Trials. A colorful space cloud filled with illusions. Voices whispered in Daniel's ear. You are not strong enough. You will fail. You are just a human. Daniel closed his eyes. The armor whispered back. Do not listen. You know who you are. Daniel focused. The illusions faded. Zara held his hand. You passed. Kale, on the other hand, saw something different in the nebula. He saw his past, his parents taken by war. His world burned. He screamed, I will never be weak again. He blasted his way through the fog. But the nebula burned his ship's fuel. Finally, Daniel and Zara reached orbit above the throne star. The planet below was glowing red, with ruins circling a mountain. But Kale was already landing. Zara gasped. He got here first. Daniel tightened his fists. Then we stop him now. On the surface, Kale stood before a large throne made of stone and crystal. The final message appeared in the air. Only one heir may unlock the core. If both are present, only one shall remain. Kale turned as Daniel and Zara landed behind him. Daniel walked forward. This isn't the way. We don't need to fight. Kale laughed. We were born to fight. Suddenly the ground shook. Lights flickered. Above them, in the sky, Scyther's ship arrived. Hundreds of black warships followed. Scyther's voice thundered across the mountain. Let them battle. While they fight for a throne, I will take the galaxy. Daniel turned to Kale. You want power? Then help me stop him. Or he'll take everything, including your throne. Kale hesitated. Zara stepped forward. This isn't about who's stronger. It's about who's smarter. Who's better. Kale looked at the sky, then at Daniel. I'll help you stop him, but once he's gone, you're mine. Daniel nodded. Deal. The two heirs turned to face the black fleet coming down from the stars. Two enemies. Now one team. Darkness filled the sky above the throne star. Hundreds of black ships floated in orbit like hungry beasts. At the front stood Scyther's warship. Large, sharp, and alive with red lightning. On the ground below, Daniel and Kale stood side by side. Their armor glowed with power. Behind them, Zara watched the sky, her heart racing. The final battle was here. Scyther's voice echoed across the air. You both wear my enemy's armor. You think that makes you strong. But I have armies. I have weapons. I will crush you both. Daniel looked at Kale. Still think I'm not strong enough? Kale smirked. Let's see what happens. The two heirs activated their armor. Wings of energy spread from their backs. They launched into the air. The war had begun. Above the throne star, Scyther's army dropped from ships like a black storm. Flying soldiers, fire drones, and metal beasts rained down. Daniel blasted through the front wave with his energy shield. Kale smashed into enemy troops like thunder. Zara joined from the ground, firing with alien tech and guiding civilians away from danger. Hold the line, she shouted. We protect the star. Inside Scyther's warship, alarms rang. Both heirs are fighting together, the AI warned. Scyther's red eyes narrowed. Then I'll break them myself. He stepped into his armor, dark silver with sharp wings and blood-colored flames. I was born for this, he growled. On the surface, Daniel's armor began to glow brighter. He felt something strange. The throne beneath the mountain had activated. A bright beam shot into the sky. A voice from the mountain called out, Heirs, come forth. Only one may claim the heart of the star. Daniel landed on the platform. Kale followed. Both stared at the beam. Kale stepped forward. This is mine. I earned it. Daniel stepped beside him. We haven't earned anything until Scyther is stopped. Suddenly, the mountain shook. Scyther slammed down from the sky like a meteor. The ground cracked. The sky went dark. Let's end this, he said. The three warriors stood in a circle. Daniel, Kale, Scyther. The final battle had begun. Kale attacked first, fast, full of rage. Scyther blocked him easily and threw him across the field. Daniel followed with a focused blast, his armor glowing like a star. Scyther screamed and struck back with red energy. The ground exploded. Mountains cracked. Lightning filled the sky. Zara tried to reach Daniel through the communicator. Are you okay? Daniel grunted. Still standing. Kale stood up too. He's strong. Daniel looked at him. We beat him together. They nodded. Both charged at Scyther with full power. Daniel used light. Kale used force. Together they hit Scyther in the chest. His armor broke, piece by piece. But Scyther laughed. You think you've won? I am war. He raised his hand, and all the dark ships aimed their cannons at the surface. Zara screamed. He's going to destroy the whole planet. Daniel heard a voice from inside his armor. There is only one way. Sacrifice. One heir must give everything to shut the star. Daniel knew what it meant. If he gave himself to the star, it would seal forever. No more heirs. No more war. He turned to Kale. You have strength. Lead them. I'll finish this. Kale frowned. No, don't you dare. Daniel smiled. You want to be the better heir? Then protect them. Don't become Sither. Daniel flew to the throne core. He placed both hands on it. His armor glowed brighter than the sun. Sither screamed. What are you doing? Daniel looked at him. I'm ending your war. The throne exploded in light. A wave of peace energy spread across the sky. All of Sither's ships shut down. Sither cried out as his armor cracked, then shattered. He fell to the ground, defeated. The light faded. Kale stood in silence. Zara ran to the core, but Daniel was gone. Only a small shard of armor remained, glowing faintly. Zara held it in her hands. Thank you, she whispered. Days passed. The galaxy was quiet. Sither's army vanished. People cheered. The war was over. Kale visited the Verilian Council. I don't want the throne, he said. I want to protect what he gave us. The council nodded. Then you'll protect it as a guardian. Zara looked up at the stars. He gave everything, so we could have peace. Years later, a young girl found a glowing rock in a field. She picked it up. A soft voice whispered, You are stronger than you think. She smiled. Somewhere, far beyond time and space, Daniel's spirit watched the stars, and the galaxy stayed silent. Safe. The end.